Episode is brought to you by our Patreon members. Sign up right now, patreon.com/VVC Life. And thank you to all of the patrons that have already signed up and are supporting us right now.
Real reviews, live and unapologetic. New episodes every Thursday at 8 at vvclife.com.
No ticket.
Before we start, do you have insurance?
What?
Your coverage good? Like you have dental?
Oh, haha.
Is there a hospital nearby?
Echo.
About like 25 minutes, I'd say.
I just slapped you. Are you alright?
What?
So you like to fight? You ever win?
No one ever wins a fight.
Was I the only person that thought of Iris when I saw the chick in the hospital talking about
No, I didn't think of Iris.
Yeah, because I'm the last one to be like fighting. I'd be like, "Oh, y'all ready to fight? Let's go."
Yeah, I mean, she did get in his business a little too early, too fast. But anyway, we're back. Real reviews. I wanted to do a special edition. I didn't know we were going to be live, but I like it. I like doing live. Like doing live videos. It's special. It's intimate. It's all together, man. So I've got the entire team. God bless America. You know what I'm saying? We got the executive producer, Eddie Lazingo.
What's going on?
Chilling, man, chilling. We got our co-executive producer. They call him Laleen, aka the Dad Panther, is in the building. What's up, Laleen? And we got the queen herself, you know what I'm saying? All-American New Yorker. Yes, ma'am. They call her Iris. Ah. All right. All right, we're not going to waste any time here. You know what I'm saying? We are reviewing Roadhouse 2024, a titular and very specific remake of a 1980s movie with a guy that died early too soon, Patrick Swayze, in the original Roadhouse. This particular film is about a black woman who had a club. I don't know whether she bought it from her family members or it was passed down, and she wants to just keep the club because it means something to her. And people have been coming and bullying her. Not out of racism. Don't take it like that. This has everything to do with, I don't even know. And I saw the movie. So, like, you know what I'm saying? However, she was not going to be dissuaded. She will not be pushed out because black women don't give up. So what she did is she offered some guy that she saw that she had no idea who he was, didn't really see him fight, if we wanted to get into the details of it, and was just like, yo, come protect my venue from this group of individuals that can't seem to stop annoying the hell out of me and breaking stuff that I bought from Target. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the movie kicks off, and hilarity and wonderfulness ensues, and light-skinned people and dark-skinned people, white, black, and Spanish, all come together in Florida, you know what I'm saying, to teach us all special lessons. That's the kind of like the little synopsis. So before we actually, did anybody see the original Roadhouse?
Oh yeah, that's one of
That's
my
classic.
guilty pleasures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't
Word.
look at the sequel from 2006. Don't watch the sequel.
So what's the sequel called? Was it Street Condo? What was it
I
like?
don't know if it was Roadhouse 2, but it was not very good.
I didn't even know
Highway
there was
Apartment.
a sequel.
Highway Apartment. Like, what do they call the sequel? Like, you know what I'm saying? No,
Bar
didn't go-
Rescue.
yeah, Bar Rescue. I don't know. You know what I mean? Bar Side Street. You know what I mean? Golly. Snifter Alley. I don't know. So anyway, all right. So you guys enjoyed the first one. I've never seen the first Roadhouse, and I feel like I probably should have. Maybe I might have been a little bit more settled in if I saw the original. However, I was excited looking at the cinematography, looking at this very jacked up Cockney man, you know what I'm saying, slapping the crap out of people, as you guys just saw in the trailer. That moment alone made me go, oh, I need to watch this movie. So I went into this with excitement and pure joy a week before my birthday. So Iris, what was your initial impression, like before you saw the film? Were you excited about watching this? Was this something you was into? What how did you feel?
I was curious. At first, I was a little put off because I'm like, of course, they're making a remake of something that doesn't need a remake. I was like, let's see what they're going to do with this one. Are they going to make it just like a copy, like an exact copy of it? Or are they going to, do their own thing with it? So I wasn't too ecstatic. I didn't really have high expectations, but I gave it a chance. And I was actually surprised a bit.
Got you. Dad Panther. How about you? Your initial impressions about the remake. Were you excited? Were you concerned? You look concerned.
I wasn't concerned. Jake was in it. He did Southpaw. He's done some other things. It's an A-list celebrity. Amazon has been really putting out some bangers. So my expectation was low, coming to the fact that it went straight to streaming. But because Jake was in, I was like, hey, it could be entertaining.
Okay. All right. You look a little romantic over there. Oh, there you go. Now you're clearing up. You thought you were trying to turn me on. I understand. Sometimes you got to give them the soft and hazy, and I get it. I respect that. You know what I mean? There you go. Look at that. Where the ladies at? Let me get some jazz music. I'll put some jazz music on. All right. Since you turned it off. All right. If you go hazy again, I'll tell you that'll be the sign to put the jazz on. I got it. I'm sorry. Eddie, initial impression, sir. Did you
Yeah, initial impression for me, I was excited. The original Roadhouse 1989 was one of my favorite movies. Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure, despite all its little flaws in typical writing. So I was actually excited to see what version of this we were going to get.
Word. No, definitely. All right. So who wants to go first with their highs and lows? I would love anybody wants to go.
I can start this.
Oh, go right ahead, sir.
All right. So starting with my highs, I really liked the fight choreography. I thought it was nice. I liked the way they modernized the film with the use of MMA. I like the camera movement with it, taking you within and out of the fights, giving you that first person perspective of getting punched. A lot of people don't know what that could be like. When you're watching the film, you're like, why isn't he fighting back? What's going on? But then when you see how he's getting hit and his vision is obscured, it gives you a little bit more understanding of why it takes some people some time to bounce back. So I really like how they immerse you in the fight with the camera angles. And despite some of the negative feedback that's been out there, I actually didn't mind Jake Gyllenhaal in this part. I liked his version of the character Dalton. It wasn't exactly the same as Patrick Swayze. He wasn't as stoic. He was a little bit more sarcastic, smiley, trying to keep it cool. They did share that same characteristic, so I did love that they kept that the same, but they let him have some freedom with it. And I actually loved Conor McGregor basically being a caricature of himself. He does walk like that in real life, and he is very extra. But this was like Conor times 3 or maybe even times 5. Like he was literally like mocking himself, and for him to be a good sport and do that, I thought that was pretty cool, and I enjoyed that. Basically, like he's mocking that persona. If I had to start getting into the lows, the characters were written all kinds of crazy, and the story just had these moments where they were trying to stretch things that were unnecessary. The characters decision making didn't make sense. They slowed things down to give you that plot point about the guy who's paying these people, the money man, who was really a joke. And then she's hiding the secret about them trying to run her off, and I don't know why she didn't want to share. And I thought that was stupid. And that plot point was so simple that it didn't need us to keep coming back to it in these little scenes. In my opinion, once that band-aid was ripped off with the first bar fight, instead of them sending back this, trying to send back the same dumb goons because we knew they were going to fail, I wanted to just see waves of this guy just hiring and different tiers of people leading up to Conor McGregor. I know it sounds like a video game, but honestly, that's all this movie is about. Is like you're breaking down the ranks and trying to get to the big boss, and then we get our big fight at the end. So that's what I wanted to see. I didn't need all these moments of trying to understand where her restaurant came from and why she's fighting for it. We understand that anybody that owns something is going to value it. So I didn't need him to slow it down for that. I didn't need him to slow down and try and sell us on the money man being this really badass. Because as you saw from the ending, which I'm not going to spoil, he really wasn't worth a damn. They introduced the character of his father, who's supposed to really be the dangerous one, but then that's all we really got. And I know that they're setting it up for if there's a sequel, he'll be our villain. But they didn't actually give us anything more than that, like really try and sell us on why is he so dangerous, why is he in prison, why is he the man, why is his son so scared to get him involved. They just kind of just threw it out there. I didn't like the love interest, and I definitely didn't like her father. He has in one scene he's telling him, I'll bring you up on some fake charges, and then within 2 minutes of that scene he's about to shoot him. Like, which is it? Like, I felt like whoever wrote this was hitting all the checkpoints of what they think this genre needed, but without thinking about how it affects the story. So everybody's like up and down. You got these badass goons, and then they're stupid, and then they're badass, and then they're stupid, and and Jake Gyllenhaal. I just wanted more of the point, violence, because the Roadhouse was supposed to be a crazy atmosphere where there's the people trying to persuade them to leave or not, and they just keep going tier after tier after tier and give us the big payoff. And then I will say the ending. Or not the ending, but it got a little goofy sometimes. Some of the action, when they did give it to me, then I was like, okay, it got so goofy to the point that it took me out of the movie. Like, what are they doing here? Like, what's going on? And so I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything, giving any examples. But I did have some fun. But there was moments where it got seriously goofy, and I had one more point that I wanted to make.
You didn't want to do any spoilery, man. That sounded kind of spoilery to me. That was.
All right, I didn't want to do too much. Okay, and then the moment, as far as character writing, that Jake Gyllenhaal's character decided to go on this venture, I don't know. It just wasn't believable to me. Just like he made it. He said no, you got the wrong guy, and then all of a sudden there's a thing that happens, and then he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go do that now. I don't know. It was stupid to me, but that's all I got.
Yeah, so you don't feel like God could motivate him, yo? Is that what you're trying to say?
It didn't feel like it to me. It just kind of felt like I just needed to get another car.
That was, and even if that was the reasoning, is that bad? No,
but they didn't establish it, so I was like, what's going on here?
There's a lot of stuff that didn't get established in this film, but what I mean? We'll get into that later. Iris, it seems like you are ready to confess your love and hatred for this film. So please go ahead and let it all out. Let open up your soul, baby.
Let me start with this. For my highs, I did appreciate Jake Gyllenhaal in this character. I actually didn't enjoy him as Dalton. I think he did a good job at it. It was no different from, his part when he played in Southpaw, like Eddie had mentioned. So I did not mind him as Dalton. I thought it was great. And I did enjoy that he put his own spin. He didn't try to copy how Patrick Swayze did Dalton in the original back in '89. So I can appreciate that. Now, in regards to like the scenes, like especially with the fight scenes, how they kind of zone in, and kind of the way they move the camera, it kind of made you feel like you were a part of the character, in the fight scenes and any explosions that may have happened, and I like the fact that even though Dalton or Jake Gyllenhaal's character was our main character to be like the big badass, you know, they were realistic about the fact that, hey, he's the badass, but he can get fucked up too. He can get hurt too, you know, so we're going to show all him being all messed up, even though, of course, he's our protagonist. We need our protagonist to win. In regards to lows, the story was all over the place. Like, I feel like they were trying to be serious at some point. Then it got like super corny and silly. Then they were trying to throw extra little plots in here and there, but didn't really build them well together consecutively. So in that aspect of like the writing, it was all over the place, and it bothered me because I was like, the storyline that they were trying to go with had potential, but it was like hit and miss. So those were like my biggest lows in you know, throughout the entire movie. But just to go back to my highs, one thing I did like is that they did try to make this movie its own. You know, it wasn't just like a direct copy of the original. You know, I like where they were trying to go with it. There was just a lot of hit and misses on the storyline itself. I wish whoever was handling this had just done a little bit better. It's like, is it action? Is it serious? Is it supposed to be corny and funny? You know, it just all over the place, and that bothered me the most.
All right. We have a bothered queen, and now, you know what I'm saying, we got our guy Jesus, aka Los Petitos, you know what I mean, aka Dad Panther. Take it away, big dog.
All right, so we're gonna go into the lows. So the lows was the just the character development. It was mentioned already by both of the two co-hosts on here, but it was interesting because when you look at, there's one scene I can think of. The owner was kind of running to the car to get involved in something that she's not. Like, what if she was assaulted? What if that guy was that bad of a guy and there's nobody around? And the timing of her to come back to the bar as all the craziness is happening, you should be there, a part of that moment, that climactic moment inside your establishment. So, you know, things like that kept happening with the characters. Other things like basically what I'm looking at here on my notes is his past wasn't needed for the, I'm not going to spoil anything. The past they went with, they didn't have to go with to tell the same story. They could have done something else that wasn't as drastic, that wouldn't have had that individual necessarily need to almost be in that mode to be more focused. There could have been something else, like, again, character development kind of situation with the bookstore, where you're like, if you can just grow the fact that he's a part of this community, I think that can make anybody take sides and say, hey, look, that works with it. Now, I did like the fights. It reminded me of Bourne Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I believe this director, I think, had some parts in. It reminded me a little bit of Sherlock Holmes with the fighting techniques, so that was fun. I was thinking when I saw this movie that this should have been in theaters. I think it would have been entertaining to hear, you know, the crowd kind of roar and go through stuff. I thought it was fun. I thought it was shot well. I thought Knox was hilarious. Yes, watching Connor be a character of himself, with that walk, with the fashion. It was like when he was on screen, you liked it, and you weren't asking for him to be this you know, A-list celebrity as far as acting. We need you to play this role, and he fit it. Goes into one of the negatives is he should have been the main villain. All the little mini villains you kept kind of getting throughout it paled in comparison. It was similar to Beekeeper, where you found that right matchup, and I think you kind of went a little too early with it. I love the music. I love how classy and cool Jake was and the rest of the cast was, and I had fun. I had fun with this movie. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Jesus. All right. So, I saw this film Saturday, or was it Sunday? No, it had to have been Sunday because I was sober. So, My highs was I was not blessed to see the original like you guys. I kind of went into this not knowing anything and not having any expectations. So the fact that the film is so bright, you know what I'm saying? Meaning that, it takes place in a sunny place with palm trees and all of these great things going on. That was really appealing to me. Dad Panther made a very great point that it was shot so well, man. Like the angles and the fight scenes that Lingo said earlier, like the fight scenes are phenomenal. Yo, there were so many times where I was like, oh my God, duck, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I really was screaming in the living room, like, and just laughing and being like, it was a fun in film. It was so grounded. It wasn't in this time period where we're so used to people taking grounded films and then like putting some kind of like artsy over the topness to it. Like even The Gentleman has moments of just being over the top. This is well grounded. Like if you get stabbed, you got stabbed. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you can feel the punches, no matter how tough they are, like there's somebody, it's just so much going on. The only thing I found unrealistic was, damn, if this many fights went on a bar in Baltimore, they would have shut that motherfucker down a long time ago. Like for them to have, it wasn't like one fight a week or like one fight every couple of days. It's like every night there's like 3 or 4 fights, and it's not like somebody punches somebody and then they split them up. It's like they brawling it out. I mean, like to the point where I'm not trying to give away too much, but like the stage where the musicians are singing, they're all in a cage. Like you gotta literally put the band in jail to protect them from getting their ass whooped. That's how crazy this bar is. However, I hate to say it, but if I lived in that town, I would literally go to that bar every night. So I'm a part of the problem. So now from my perspective, I think I can add some understanding to you guys, and you might even agree with what I'm saying. I think that this movie was 3.5 hours long originally. I honestly feel that way. There are so many moments where I'm like, they cut it and it was just like, yo, this seemed to be something serious, or this seemed to have gone on longer, and they just cut it because either it was messing with the momentum, or it was something they didn't need, or they found out in the cut. It's like, all right, man, like, all right, this could add to something, but yo, let's just keep it tight. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it kind of like, you know what I mean? Because there were so many moments where I'm like, this could have gotten so dark. This thing could have gotten really deep, and it would have really changed the tone of this lighter film that we've come to love. You know what I'm saying? Our main character, really starts off really dark, comes into town, meets a cute little mixed girl, and she's trying to be serious, but it turns into a cute, he met his first new friend and got a little, and then it's light, and yeah, some fights happen, but everybody knows you now. You're a part of the family. It's like every time the film has a chance to maybe go dark, they bring it right back to the light, which I liked. I like that the film didn't get really deep. However, I will admit to my cast of greatness right here that if they had gone deep and they had gone dark and probably made this little one, this probably could have the ability to be like legendarily great. Because if you had the big bad that was behind the bars, that might have been like even more scary. I don't know if I would have liked it as much. You know what I mean? Because one of the things I really loved about the film is that it was light and fluffy to a certain extent. And like, it does seem like they gave everybody cocaine in the last 15 minutes of the film, and then just things went off the rails, just like Argyle. They start handing out drugs at the end of the film, you know what I'm saying? No Diddy. And like, things just go crazy. You know what I mean? So like, but before that, you know what I mean? Like he was saying, Shorty comes out of the club at a pivotal moment. She goes to have a word with him. The camera starts following her, and all of a sudden we just flip off of it. There's the scene where the whole situation where he has to have the crocodile handle some business for him. There's actually some stuff that comes after that, and they just switch off of it. The same thing. I mean, there are so many scenes where it's like, okay, this is leading down a deeper road, something more dark and demented. And I wish I had a reference point film where it's like it's light and fluffy in certain places, but then it goes like super dark. I would even say kind of like John Wick 2, maybe it could have gotten into. But once again, I think it would have taken away from the original tone, even though I didn't see the original film. But I feel like they were trying to at least keep the tone consistent. You know what I mean? So like it's so certain things had to get cut. And when you cut certain things, it even though the film makes sense. Because it's not like I went through this like going, what the hell? But there were questions. And I finished that film and went, you know what I'm saying? You know what? I'm all right. I have some changes that I want to talk about after I finish this review. So if you want to hear my changes, stay to the end. And I have a whole rewrite that'll make this so much better, in my opinion. I'm probably wrong, but at least hear me out. All right. So anyway, my highs is I loved it. My lows is, I mean, yeah, some stuff didn't make sense, but I didn't care. I really didn't care. I loved it. Even the last fight scene that went on a little bit too long. But I will say that like it was invigorating to watch these fight scenes. It was like, yes, I don't know why I like this, even though I have so many more different examples, but like this simple man battle, this egotistical bravado display, you know, that made Iris gush, you know what I mean, was just a great dope moment in film history. Just to see Iris was like, what you mean, nigga? I ain't give a fuck about that shit. So yeah, shut up, Iris. You know you like that scene. It was all oiled up and, you know what I mean, wrestling each other, throwing each other around. You was like, oh Jesus, look at that, Lord. Look at all these strong men's is out here just throwing it around.
Don't be talking about me like you know me. You do not know me.
You got some drool on your lip, babe. So anyway,
that's called just natural glow. I'm so sorry.
Is that what it is? You just be glistening when the men's is around. When y'all here with no shirt on, you know, wrestling each other. Okay, I got you. So all right, let's rate this thing. You know what I'm saying? Between bad and good. You know what I mean? What level of bad are we going? All right. And since Iris has got that glow, we're going to ask you first the question. Is it a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it catch on streaming? And let me slow this down so I can get the button right. Let's see. Real review. And then is it not doing it for me? Is it? Oh, hell no. Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. You. All right, Iris, what are you going?
I'm going with catch it on streaming. I did enjoy it, but let's hear your reviews to see what you would do to make this better.
I'm telling you, I would have got you out to the theater if I had got my choice, but hold up. All right, Eddie, sir. Is it a classic good watch catch on streaming, not doing it for me? Oh, hell no. Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will slap you. Which one is you going for, sir?
So I know this may surprise you, but I'm actually going to give it a good watch still.
Let's go, baby.
I had fun with it, and it gave me, in my opinion, a lot more than the Beekeeper did. And we accepted the BS because Beekeeper was just supposed to entertain us with action. This gave me that, and I enjoyed it, even though there was some moments where I was questioning, but I still overall thought it was a good watch.
Yeah. And unlike Dad Panther, I never saw Jake Gyllenhaal as being A-list. I thought he was C-list at the max. You know what I'm saying?
At the max?
Even though he got a six-pack, I don't think he's shit. I never thought he was shit. He ain't never been in nothing that I thought was anything, but you know, I mean, but Dad Panther knows better than I know. He's more of a professional. Mm-hmm. So if he says he
was really good.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Prospect Mountain was pretty good.
Oh,
did you say
she said Brokeback Mountain.
Oh shit.
His face.
That's pretty good.
Dad Panther, sir. Is this a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it a catch on streaming? Is it not doing for me? Is it? Oh Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. You, sir, what is your rating?
Okay. All right. So we do have Brokeback Mountain, but there's also Jarhead, End of Watch, Donnie Darko, cult classic. You know, there's some movies on there. City Slicker, a nice little appearance in Spider-Man: Far From Home. I mean, he's getting paid. He's getting paid. City Slicker. I don't know, The Covenant.
What's he doing in City Slickers?
Apparently you made a little cameo on that. But anyways, I mean, I would say End of Watch is one of the ones I would probably put up there. But anyways, before I get into the rating, right? That was an appetizer. So the first course that I'll give you is, if you weren't here before because the cameras weren't live, I'm laughing at the comment that Jay made about P. Diddy. Okay. Because less than a week or two ago, when I was like, your boy Diddy about to sing a new song, I'm locked up, allegedly. Jay was like, not my hero, not my man, not my amigo, as if maybe there's some pictures surfacing from the white parties, but but he's changed and he's singing a different song today. Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm not doing that. I will always defend the homie forever, man. That's my dog. You know what I mean? Shout out to Diddy. Stay strong, bro. Don't drop the soap, my nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Keep your head up, my guy. You know what I mean?
Will go crazy right now. Bring back Boondocks. All right, so let me get into the main course. Now, I mentioned what I liked and what I didn't. I think everybody collectively kind of came up what they had. But the other notes that I had, other than, you know, taking some shots, was the biker. There were just moments that were just icing on the cake. There was a biker that you saw in the first fight, and as soon as you saw him, if you've seen him in other projects, you know it was comedy relief, and it was the constant bits of comedy. Even when he didn't say anything, you felt like this was funny, and I enjoyed that. There were some elements, I would say 3 elements, that were dislikes that could have enhanced my experience, and it was just him fighting. I think Lingo mentioned it earlier, I think I would have enjoyed, you know, that montage where he was teaching everyone how to do certain things. If that was what the movie was, him learning this, him reading more books, him helping to build XYZ. There's a hurricane coming, so he's helping them board. Like, and you're watching the Roadhouse as he's fighting, and then you get Knox as that main villain. And it kind of plays out that way. I think people would have really enjoyed that, and just really having fun. The movie was fun. It was crisp. It was clean. But we should have been able to see them have more fun. Brayland came up there singing, you know, and it was just the vibe that you had. And you should have been able to see the ladies dancing and the guys buying drinks. And every now and then somebody would do something wrong. But you should have felt like you wanted to go to the Roadhouse. You wanted to participate. You wanted to do those things. And I think that would have been fun, having them, you know, have those elements in there. So with my rating, long-winded, I'm going to say that this movie is a classic. That's it. And I'm not saying it for a fluff. I'm saying it for some of the same notes you guys talked about. It was better than a lot of other movies we had. The genre of this movie was not to win an Academy Award. The genre of the movie, for what I took it from, was action. And when you look at some of the action movies from the 80s, when you look at some of those movies like Cocktail, please bring back Cocktail if you're going to, maybe it's okay to remix and kind of bring that new generation some type of movies. But I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed what it was. I didn't sit there going tick for tack that it wasn't. If it wasn't for this show, I wouldn't have found anything bad from it. I was sitting at my seat. I loved the pacing. I loved everything about the movie. I was fine if they keep doing more movies. I was fine if this was going to be a television show. I wanted more of this. So with that being said, I would say it's a classic action movie.
Go ahead, sir.
I love everything that you said there, but Cocktail was not an action movie. I need you to go back and watch it again.
No, I wasn't saying it was action. What I'm saying is the original Roadhouse. I'm not saying it's action. The original Roadhouse, if I'm correct, it had Patrick Swayze, and I can't remember the lady's name, but they came from Cocktail and Dirty Dancing. Right. And so if they can remake this and it had a good feel to it, I would be interested in seeing Tom Cruise kind of do something like that and bring that as a remake. Not necessarily action, but that kind of movie to see that again.
Okay. All right. I got one more comment though. Mm-hmm. The list of movies that you gave of Jake Gyllenhaal, although they are good, those are, in my opinion, high quality indie films. None of those were were going 8 to 12 weeks in the box office, bringing people in. They were just movie people like us were like, hey, I like that. And then it was gone in 3-4 weeks for the next real big blockbuster. So he was never on that A list, even though we respect him and we like him. I'm with you on, but I wouldn't call him an A list actor. None of his stuff was bringing people in droves to the theater. Not one.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I did not. I wasn't trying to stamp on what you said, bro. He went too far. He really drilled down. That was not. I was actually saying, I was being honest when I said I didn't know he was A-list. Because
it's a great point. Like when you look at the catalog, even if there's movies that we saw like Southpaw and stuff like that, like Nightcrawler, like you would see it. We might look at that now and say straight to streaming. So I completely understand, regardless if there's Zodiac and certain other movies on there. So I get it. Maybe a high B.
Yeah, definitely. But Dad Panther, I love that concept of you bringing Karate Kid 2 in and like the hurricane and all that shit. I thought that was fire, bro. Like I was like, yeah, hurricane, like they rebuild.
Wait, what the fuck are you talking about?
Not only do we get to see him whoop ass, but he could be a carpenter too. Holy shit! Like I like
no shirt on. He just stroking the wood, and ladies like, whoa, I don't know, but I want to go to the Roadhouse.
All right. I want to get no diddy.
Listen, what we talking? I said woman. I said ladies. I said people of age with consent.
Stroking the wood.
Hey, listen. It's a grown folks show. All right. Consensual grown.
Hey, what demographic you trying to bring on here? But let me go and get my review before you cut him loose. All right.
Listen, I check ID.
Yeah.
No, and just to add something, no offense, I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I know you do. I know.
But I feel like in every movie he plays, he's playing this. To me, he's like the same type of person. Like his vibe just seems like the same. There's nothing unique or different with Jake. I feel like it's all monotone. Like he's the same person in all his movies. Like whether it's action or comedy or a drama, I feel like it's just the same person, but in different life cycles.
Wow.
Jake, I'm sorry, bro. I did not mean to start this. I didn't
say it was a bad actor. I just said he's just one type of actor to me.
He said Barry.
It's okay. It's
okay.
okay
to go back to Bubble Boy.
You already shot that nigga in the head. Just throw the dirt over him. Just throw the dirt. Y'all gonna try to apologize after shooting the nigga. My bad. Like I ain't even mean to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Jay, you keep trying to make it seem like I really wanted him dead, but you just killed him. All right. So anyway, what I'm gonna say is this is a good watch. That's what I'm going with. I had such a great time by myself in the living room, sober on top of that, Jesus Christ. And, watched it. And I think me not going into it with any expectations, which I try to do with every film, is to not have expectations. I think it was fun. Yeah, I might have had my little things that I picked up on, but it didn't matter. Like I definitely am going to watch it again when the homies come over and be like, yo, you got to watch this shit. So like, you know what I mean? Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to give anybody that doesn't want, I'm going to give you 10 seconds so you can get the fuck out of here so I can get in here. We're going to do a whole lot of spoiler talk. I'm just letting you know that right now. So hold up 10 seconds and then we coming back with spoiler talk. All right. So if you still here, motherfucker, you wanted this, okay? All right. So just pull the panties to the side. So just play. So anyway, no diddy. So anyway, yeah. This is consent at this point.
Now it's consensual. Now.
If you stayed this long, if I told you to leave and you still here, that's consent. Oh boy.
I don't know the audience you talking to.
And he said you put it to the side. He wasn't gonna do it for you.
That's a fact. Thank you.
My ears are violated.
You pull it to the side. You asking for it.
So, if I may, I want to get into my slight rewrite. I'm not rewriting the whole film, but there are two little things I'm gonna do that I feel like would tie this film in and make it a lot tighter. Number one, get rid of this goofy ass love interest. The goofy bitch, nope, let's get rid of her out the gate. All right, and then what we do is we make the lady that owns the bar the fucking love interest. Now that ties everything in together. I don't even know why we brought in somebody from the outside when you needed him to feel more connected to the situation. Them like at night at the end of the bar where she's kind of like cleaning them up after the fights and they're having deep conversations, and then she starts talking about the family history and like, you know, how she had to be strong, and he goes, yo, I see the strength in you, and like, you know what I mean, everything you saying to your dad, that's you. And then they make love on the couch, and then like, you know what I'm saying, things start evolving between them, so he fights harder for the bar, and then, you know, she ends up telling him about some of the shit. So now, even though she tells him about some shit that he know I need to get away from, he's emotionally connected to her and he can't leave. Boom! That solves so many problems, and then all the holes that we get annoyed with that we've watched during the film, because we sitting here like, nigga, leave. The first time he got the first week's $5,000, I would have been like, all right.
Okay. I got my whip.
Like, I holler at you, my nigga. Like, I got me a car. I'm on my way. So like, that I think that small little tidbit I kept thinking about throughout the film. Like, why isn't she? Because it's almost like the bar owner is an unnecessary character to a certain extent. Like, she's really only there to get him into the film and to like look like a dumbass later on. Like, and how do we justify how much fucking money she has, bro? If you're busting this motherfucking building up every goddamn night, where you getting all this money from? That's a crazy. How much you charging for them beers? $20 a piece? Oh. She $40 shots out this bitch, and you can't tell me that chunky white girl serving it up like that. I mean, goddamn, if you had some baddies behind the counter, I'd be one way, but you had the ugly one, chunky one, and then you had another one that wasn't that good looking either. And I'm like, they can't be selling drinks that much. Yeah, I mean, no wonder them niggas in that bitch fighting, because there wasn't no pussy around that motherfucker. Like, god damn.
I don't know. I thought they were cute. Your standard's too fucking high. I thought they were cute. I would have buy you a drink. Ooh, you.
I didn't say I would not have a late night rendezvous.
But you just Jake Gyllenhaal them. You beat them with the stick. You said, no.
If I'm a six,
for him, a hole is a hole. So fuck it, right?
See, here she goes. She gotta take shit too far, bro. Why you gotta take this so far, nigga? Like, god damn, like. So you just referred to that chick from the movie as just a hoe. She that ugly that she just a hoe. Like, damn,
I didn't say she was ugly. I'm just saying she's you just basically beat her down.
Jade's ability to deflect
is
legendary.
I mean,
he just sitting there like blank man.
I ain't gotta look at it.
I'm talking about bar math. Bar math is hot girls equals higher sales. Girls equal sales. Now, if she was at that joint throwing game, you know what I'm saying, then I would have been like, oh, all right, I see why she ain't that good looking, but she got all the dudes gassed up when they come in here. Hey, what's up, baby? That nigga came in there asking for coffee, and she was cold like it was a Western. Hey, yo, can I get some coffee? She was like, we ain't got none. That was it.
I like your charm.
Oh, thanks for coming in, and you know I don't have coffee, but I do have this turkey.
Nah.
And she wasn't. There was no game. It was like, no, we ain't got no coffee.
That's it. Even when he asked for like, let me take what you have, it was like the eyes was like, whatever, you ain't ready for this, but whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So I reaffirm my statement. She ain't justifying the amount of money that was coming in at the end of the night. So yeah, those are my two little things that I would have changed. Eddie, come on now. We in spoiler land now. Come on.
I just want to say that I agree with you 100% about the leverage, but the reason they got hyper focused on the nurse is because of the original. That was the relationship. So they were trying to stay true to that, and she judged him early on too. Same way, like, oh, you just like hurting people for fun, blah blah blah, and then she realized he was actually a good guy, and they had the great sex scene, which we didn't get in this remake, and me and my fiance was a little disappointed. Was looking to get some of that on against the wall, but anyway,
hurricane.
Yes.
Like, think about it. It would have cut to somebody else. Like, it's really coming down out there. Right back to them. Shutter. Category 5.
But I will say that the original movie, if you get a chance to watch it, it is dark. It's not as bright and fun. It is one of those, like, stoic man gets challenge tested, and he does get emotionally invested, but it's not because of the bar owner, because in the original it's a dude. But it tries to stay dark, and so if this was what, like you said, I honestly believe that was the case. They probably did have a whole lot of that, and they decided that it was probably too long, it's not needed, and they wanted to make it fun. So I get that, but the original was it ended up going dark, not as dark as what we get today, but dark for that time period.
Okay, Iris, I know you had some added things you wanted to say. Go ahead, toss it in there.
So for me, I would say there were just certain characters that were unnecessary. I do agree about the love interest, and I know they were trying to stay to the original. But the fact that if you wanted to keep the love interest the same, then why didn't you make the bar owner a man? If you were trying to stay true to that portion, But the fact that, she was a woman, she was a beautiful Black woman, then that extra part with the nurse, if they were really trying to make this Roadhouse its own, then I don't think anyone would have been upset about, they changed that part out because, this is just based off the original, but it's its own thing. I really wanted to see where that could have progressed because I really think that had potential there. Him, the bar owner, because it's like in the movie, the only reason why he stays is because of his, connection he built with the little girl,
The bookstore.
from the bookstore. Yeah. So if nothing would have happened to that bookstore, he would have left. That would have been the end of the movie. Everybody would have been fucked.
If I may, he was actually going to leave in spite of the little girl, but the bus left while he was walking around and shit. And he was like, fuck. And at that point, it's like,
I don't know. I didn't get that from that.
You gotta. You don't remember the scene where he's standing inside, the building is burning, and he looks out and the bus is going, and then his face goes, shit.
No, I saw that, but that's not the vibe I got. I got more when his face dropped. It was like, fuck, they burned this shit down. My bus did leave, but now I'm invested in this because they burned this shit down. I don't think he wanted to leave either way. So I felt like that little piece there with the bookstore, if they would have went the route with him having an emotional connection with the bar owner, I think would have made more sense instead of, they burned down the bookstore, I'm staying now. Like, really? I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. That part I definitely would have changed. What else would I have changed? Okay, so I don't feel like when they were kind of showing you how he's trying to teach the other guys on how to be bouncers, with the whole knees thing and shit like that, I feel like they didn't give us enough of that. And just like Eddie had stated before, McGregor's character came so early, and I feel like, it kind of killed the build up for me. So I think what they should have done is done it in waves of people coming in, like, we'll send this badass. No, we'll send this badass. No, this is the real badass. And just show different ways of how he's taking motherfuckers out. So those were my things for the movie. I did like that it was brighter than the original, but then again, in the original, he's going to a town in Missouri, not that he's from Missouri coming to Florida. So I do like that, it was a lot brighter than the original, but yeah, those were just my key things that I kind of wish would have been different and would have helped the movie flow better, in my opinion.
Okay, Eddie, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to a couple of those things. I feel like the moment he found out that the girl was hurt, was when he decided to stay. I believe with JS1, that bus left, he was like, fuck. He was still ready to go. And yeah, it's burnt down. But then when he asked them about the father and daughter, and they said, oh, she's hurt hospital, I think that information changed his mind, not really the store being burnt down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the second thing is, that's what the original was offering, exactly what you said, where Dalton was not only every day they was beefing up he was getting new people, teaching them how to take people outside, then fight, instead of breaking up everything on the inside, teaching them how to give them an option before you go there, try and talk it down. He was hiring, and they were turning multiple people into it. It was a nice little security bouncing staff. And so I thought we were headed down the road with this one, and it would have been nice, like you said, if they would have done more of that while they were sending different waves of people to try and disrupt things. So I like that. I like that idea too, and it just makes me want to go back and watch the original more.
Yeah. I felt like his intention was always to leave. He never intended to stay. You know what I'm saying? So like, even I think the proof in that pudding was hey, let me teach you guys a couple of things, since y'all gonna be around here and y'all seem to be nice people. Let me show y'all how to handle yourselves and handle this crowd. So that, and then like you started seeing during the film, like fights would break out. He wouldn't even get up out the seat. They would start handling it. I mean, he would be there if it was necessary, but for the most part, he would just let them rock and roll. And that was kind of my thing, where I was like, all right, you just biding your time, keeping to your agreement, and then you gonna be fucking out. But that's also because of the fact that he didn't know the extent of the problem. So he's thinking it's just some rowdy people, all right, this ain't no big deal, bro. Y'all just don't even know how to teach these niggas, you know what I mean? So and I think that, once again, wonderful. Instead of you saying everything, certain things are just left to learn just through people's actions. And I think that's the mark of great filmmaking, when you don't have to spell out everything. You don't have to say everything. And you know what I'm saying? Well, why is it that people keep coming in here? Oh, it seems to be, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, all right, cool. Like, you get to see things just through action and through happenstance and through other conversations. I thought that was dope. And then the main big bad, like the young kid that, I feel like he could have been more of a threatening villain if he wasn't so over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing on the boat and he's shaving and he's telling them to do it, but it was obviously a dumbass idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, even down to him being like, I got these plans for this resort. And it's like, yo, if you look on your map, nigga, the shit is this big. And you got all of this stuff. Like, yo, just build around that motherfucking, keep it. Like, if you already got all of this shit, then just build what the fuck you gonna build. You don't need this little blip right here to change anything, bro. You still gonna be the fucking man. I feel like that whole obsession about this one thing, I think that was nothing. That was stupid. It's like the amount of money and manpower that you've dedicated to something that's not necessary is stupid. So now, if they were to tie in the concept of the drug smuggling and this and that, I probably would have understood that better. I would have respected it more. But for them to be like, nope, that's not it. It's not drug smuggling. Nope, it's not a good port. It's just a resort. You go, we killing niggas over, you know what I mean? Like something that you could have just left there, and it would have been something that people that come to the resort would just use as a hangout spot. You could have easily just been like, look, shorty, I'm gonna toss you $500,000. Give me some head and make sure this place is fixed up when I got these niggas coming down here, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Give me a little cut on the side. We good or not? Hey, look, we trying to make some money. Just keep it up over here. All right. Like, you know what I mean? Let me send some guys down here to make sure that don't nobody do no dumb shit. We good. Like, that's a super easy thing. That would have been way less investment than what he did for all these guys, Conor McGregor's, to come in and fucking destroy everything, driving 200 miles an hour in Ubers. Like, that was just dumb. So like, yeah, all in all, when you really find out the intention of the big bad, you go, this whole movie's not necessary. You know what I mean? And that's where your other big problem comes in. So then all of the goofy stuff that goes on, there's no weight behind the, you guys are pissing me off, and it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, all right, you're not smart. You're just here to be killed. So I'm just waiting until the moment when you get killed. And that was that. And then like he ended up not even being a problem. Conor McGregor ended up being a problem. And even that went a little too far, in my opinion. Yeah. So that's what that is. That's why it's a catch on streaming. Thank you, Iris. I appreciate that. You know, you could loud.
Iris.
This is a live stream. That's what we're here
Sorry,
for.
I got background noise, you guys.
Got you. All right. With that being said, is there anything else you gentlemen wanted to talk about before we got up out of here? Birdman hands
And lady.
and lady. Is there anything else the lady would like to talk about, gentlemen and lady? No. All
Well,
right.
let me ask you guys one question though. Do you, Amazon doesn't need a whole lot of numbers to risk to try and do a sequel. You know, they're happy with a certain amount of clicks. If they only get 1 million clicks over a certain amount of time, they're good with that. They don't need like crazy numbers. So if they start talking sequel, would you guys give it a shot?
I would say yes, because I want to see who's the dad that's locked up, because they only gave us like a little sprinkle of him.
Yeah, the dad actually hired Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor ended up killing his son. So I'm like,
yeah, like how is that? Because at the end, I don't know if you saw the end credit, where Conor McGregor freaking just leaves the hospital,
right?
Alive.
He's still alive.
So it's like,
look at JS1's face.
They had a post.
Did he leave again?
Yes.
He left a nut.
I also want to say this. They were showing us continuations of scenes that we pointed out were cut off, like when she went chasing Buddy to the car and it stopped. They showed a little bit more of when she like threw her necklace into his window because he was trying to roll up, ignore he drove off and she almost fell. And they're so clearly, when you said that about it being a longer movie, it that made sense to me, because in the ending credits they were showing extensions of scenes. And I was like, we didn't get that in the actual movie. Yeah, and then they show Conor McGregor actually kicking ass to leave the hospital as a mid-credit scene.
That is such a waste.
Watch the credit.
No, I'm good, but thank you.
Fast forward.
That's the reason why we have you guys. Like, you guys can watch the credit and come back and amaze me with all of the greatness. Because, yeah, the moment was over. I was like, whew, thank God. All right, let's go. Let's go on with our lives. You know what I mean? I highly enjoyed it. Well, still highly. I have complaints, but that doesn't mean anything. I have complaints about Star Wars, and I have watched that at least 1 million times. So, like, I don't want people to feel like me complaining about something is a measure of how much I liked or disliked the film. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I could watch Revenge of the Nerds 1 million times and tell you every 100 million things that are wrong with the film. Like, it's still fucking classic to me. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna watch Highlander. That shit is a piece of shit, and I'm still gonna be like, I love this motherfucker. Like, it is beautiful. All right, so with that being said, Dad Panther says it's time to get the hell up out of here, and I tend to agree. Yo, what you need to do is support us right now by going and following us on all social medias, Iris_Real Reviews, the Dad Panther, Movie Lingo, and at Real Reviews on Facebook, and then at VVC Life everywhere else. We love you guys. We will check you guys next time tomorrow, 8 p.m., where we review what, ladies and gentlemen?
Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire, and
Beetlejuice.
Ghost Heads, the documentary.
This nigga said Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is coming up, nigga. We about to do that in a couple of months when the movie drops. So, yeah, and we got a bunch of new trailers for y'all, so make sure y'all keep it locked. Talk to y'all tomorrow. We out. Peace.
No ticket.